So Iran attacked Qatar.
No way!
Well, not actually Qatar. Iran struck American military bases that were in Qatar, which in itself is weird.
Why so serious?
Why is a foreign army in your country? I don't imagine the Americans returning the favor, but that's not what this video is about. First, let's give some background. This started after a series of attacks Israel did on Tehran, killing nearly 200 people and leaving many wounded. This in turn led Iran to retaliate. Iran went wild with the ballistic missiles killing about 4 to 6 people, basically minding the casualty numbers compared to Israel. This in turn has led the right-wing American government to beating the drums of war on Iran, using Iran supposedly developing nukes as a justification.
Not a great plan.
Now before we go further, be sure to become a member of my Patreon page for just $5 a month, and you will gain early access to my videos which you can watch ad-free and also gain access to my scripts. Click the link in the description below. Now we have seen this before with Iraq, that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. This very same justification was used to justify that terrible invasion of Iraq that left hundreds of thousands of civilians dead, millions displaced and thousands tortured in death camps like Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo Bay.
I don't feel so good.
And let's not forget that thousands of Americans also died for a fruitless war, and in the end no WMDs were found. None were found because there were none to begin with. George Bush simply lied. The same thing is being said today about Iran nearly verbatim, and the fact is that the intelligence community in the US have said it explicitly that there is no proof that Iran is developing nuclear weapons, which was immediately shrugged off by Donald Trump, who said he doesn't care.
Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having one.
Not a great plan.
Now I believe, as most sensible people do, that if Iran had nukes, then the US wouldn't be beating the drums of war as it is now, but more on that point later. This led to the US bombing 3 nuclear enrichment sites in Iran. The Iranian government has said that the sites were evacuated, therefore there were no civilian casualties. Good for them, but they threatened to retaliate on US bases after what the US has done. And surely they did strike the largest US base in the Middle East. I mean, what are they even doing there? No American would accept a Qatari army base in New York, but whatever, we will stick to Iran on this one. So far the tensions seem to be only rising, but there is slim hope in sight. Trump posted on Truth Social that Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire. Now I am a cynic when it comes to these kinds of things. This was a war started by Israel.
Attack me, Jeff.
Let's not forget that. And both Israel and America have a long bloody history when it comes to treaties and ceasefire agreements. In that, they always break their treaties. Iran, despite all this, seems to be willing to negotiate and de-escalate tensions, but is Israel going to? I mean, the whole reason the US government got involved is because of Israel. Because Israel won't stop attacking its neighbors.
They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
News is pouring in that they are killing Gazans using aid distribution sites as entrapment for the hungry Palestinians. Meanwhile, they are also attacking Lebanon and Tehran. Why they are doing this? What they hope to gain? Well, if we are to listen to top analysts like Norman Finkelstein, they want to re-establish their deterrence capability.
Not a great plan.
They want to show the world that they will go crazy whenever they are threatened. And that's why they will open up 3 war fronts at the same time to establish fear of them in the hearts of Muslims.
Why so serious?
And of course they can. They have the backing of the world's strongest country, the US. The US will go along with anything Israel says because it serves their geopolitical interest. Israel acts like an additional state within the resource-rich Middle East to the United States, which is why they will support that maniac of a state.
Not a great plan.
Even if it brings them down along with Israel. Because let's be honest, Israel is an expensive ally. About $300 billion have been spent this past year on Israel. That's enough to end the poverty in Africa. That's enough to invest in American educational institutions and feed and shelter the homeless. But Israel takes the priority.
Not a great plan.
There's also this fact that about 100 million Christian Zionists in America also back Israel through thick and thin. They are the most powerful lobby in America, even more powerful than AIPAC. Most Republicans come from this part of the population. Senators like Ted Cruz, who believe cursing a genocidal megalomaniacal state is being cursed by God.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Overall, things are looking grim in the Middle East. I already told you I'm a cynic. What might happen is that Israel will break their ceasefire agreement and carry on striking Tehran, and eventually will pull the US into a war they cannot come out of unscathed. The US citizens are not up for this war. They don't want this war. They don't want to fight for some Middle Eastern country that has gone crazy. Already things are bleak for the average American citizen, with rising costs of living, with rising poverty, and now there's another war.
Not a great plan.
America cannot come out of this unscathed. This will plunge America into a pit of despair and death that will be hard to come out of. If you enjoyed my video, click the like button, subscribe, and click the bell button to stay informed on the current affairs. And be sure to become a member of my Patreon for just $5 a month to gain access to my scripts and gain early access to my videos, which you can watch ad-free. Click the link in the description below.